I'm saying that the key is balance. The key is always balance. There's got to be a balance somewhere between Pollyanna and despondent cynicism. Hey everybody, it's Jesse. I'm out for a walk on this glorious August evening, and I wanted to share with you some thoughts about the negativity bias. The negativity bias is a filter. It affects the way we view ourselves, the world around us, the things people say to us. We have a natural tendency to ignore the good and look only at the bad. It's important to remember where this comes from. The negativity bias is an evolutionary adaptation. As a species subject to predation, we were programmed to be wary of our surroundings. If we were exposed to a dangerous or painful situation, we would naturally be more inclined to remember that, because avoiding danger would be more likely to keep us alive. The complexity of our organic minds has not kept pace with the complexity of our society and modern technology. Our world has changed rapidly. Our minds might take tens of thousands of years or more to evolve adaptations that make us more suited for our current surroundings. So this leaves us susceptible to innate cognitive biases. I recently read the excellent book Before Happiness by Sean Achor, and I highly recommend it to anyone who wants more happiness in their life. I highly recommend this book to you, no matter who you are or what you're trying to do. It is an excellent book for anyone who wants more happiness in their life. And I think it's probably safe to say that we all want more happiness in our lives. Am I right? In his book, Sean Achor states that in order for us to balance out the effect of a negative piece of information, we need at least 3 pieces of positive information just to come out even. Frankly, I feel like that number is a bit conservative. If you're an author, then I think you probably know what I'm talking about. If you go look at your reviews and you see one single negative review, that one single negative review is gonna stick in your mind and bother you in the long term far more than 20 positive reviews are likely to stick in your mind and buoy you up and lift your spirits and make you feel good about yourself. And that's because of the negativity bias. Negativity bias filters our memory, our perceptions, our moods, and our thoughts. By focusing our thoughts on the negative things that happen, the negative things that people say to us, we may tend to miss out on opportunities. We may tend to discount encouragement, and we may tend to think poorly of ourselves. This can have serious long-term consequences. We may miss out on work opportunities, we may miss out on sales or potential professional connections, we may miss out on friendship connections, romantic connections. We may discount the value of prospective opportunities and only see the dangers of prospective opportunities, and this can keep us trapped where we are. Sometimes being so fearful of the potential negative consequences of any action that we remain trapped in a very negative situation that's unhealthy for us. But we become so wrapped up in our fear that we discount positive possibilities and only focus our attention on these negative thoughts. If we allow the negativity bias to influence our thoughts for too long, then the negative thoughts feed more negative thoughts, and we quickly get caught in a negative spiral. And it spirals and it spirals and it goes down, 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 down. And eventually, we're in a horrible state of anxiety and depression. The negativity bias is supposed to keep us safe, but it ends up harming us if we can't put a stop to it at some point. We all must learn to find balance and not simply give in to our gut feelings at all times, because our gut feelings lead us astray. Our gut feelings make us fearful, and our fear sucks us down into a bottomless pit of more fear and loathing and self-hatred and hatred of other people. It is bottomless, and we must learn to put an end to it. This is especially true for trauma survivors. The after effects of trauma can leave a person extremely biased towards negative points of view, negative thoughts, and negative filters, which can be harmful in the long run. When we fill our minds with negative thoughts all the time, it has a negative effect on us in the long term. It is harmful. What's worst about it is that for many of us, these negative thoughts may not have originated with us personally. Sometimes these negative thoughts were put into our minds by a relative, someone close to us when we were very young, especially, as I said before, if we happen to have survived trauma at an early age. The negative remarks said to or about us by people close to us when we are at an impressionable stage in life can really hurt, and they stick with us for so long. They have a truly lasting impact. Sometimes these negative thoughts may have been inceptioned into our minds by social media trolls who certainly don't have our best interest at heart and probably want to use their influence to destroy society and all the individuals within it. Well, this is beginning to seem like a pretty negative video. I've said the word negative so many times so far. I guess it's difficult to talk about the negativity bias without saying the word negative, but let's look at some solutions. What do we do to combat the negativity bias? I think the most important thing to do is to filter our inputs. Take control of our information diet. Take charge of what you're putting in your brain. If you feed yourself a steady diet of negativity, your brain is going to respond to that, and your outlook on the world will be extremely gloomy. I'm not saying that we should all be Pollyanna and be completely optimistic all the time and lose sight of reality. I'm saying that the key is balance. The key is always balance. There's got to be a balance somewhere between Pollyanna and despondent cynicism and snarky hatred of everything and everyone and always believing that we're a victim and never believing that there's any hope for anything anywhere, and it's all going to hell and it's all getting worse all the time. We see this on social media, we see it on the news. It is incessant. It never ends. And the more time you spend absorbing those things, the worse it gets for you and for the people around you. So it becomes extremely important to selectively filter your inputs and try to choose more positive inputs for your mind. Take away the negative ones and try and replace them with messages of hope and kindness, love, tolerance, forgiveness. These words have become almost anathema in our modern culture. It's so important that we rediscover tolerance. Another thing we must learn to do is practice mindfulness. Practice mindfulness. Think about your thoughts. Think about the way you think, because thinking about thinking helps us to recognize when we're getting sucked into these negative thought patterns, and it helps us to recognize them for what they are. And if we can consciously be aware of these negative thoughts that are swaying us and our decision-making processes and our preferences and our life choices, if we become more aware of where these thoughts come from, what types of thoughts they are, and what effect those thoughts are having on us, then we'll eventually, over time, it's not easy, you guys. I struggle with this, I really do. But over time, eventually, on balance, more often than before and more often over time, we become able to affect those thought patterns in a positive way. We affect our thought patterns in a more positive way until we're able to enjoy life again. We have all been trained. You, me, all our friends, we've all been trained by our media diet in the modern era, social media and the news media. We have all been trained to look at the world exclusively through the filter of the negativity bias. It's seen as a virtue to only look at negative things in life. And this is harming us in ways that we don't yet understand, but it is doing serious damage to our individual psyches and to our culture as a whole. We know that we've seen a massive uptick in mental health issues over the last couple of years, predating the pandemic, by the way, although certainly being trapped inside with nothing but our negative news and social media to keep us company has destroyed our minds. For many people, it has left us just incapable of feeling positive feelings anymore. This modern focus on everything being wrong all the time, we have to learn to fight back. The solution to this problem is to think about the way we're thinking, think about our own thoughts, to try to take control of our thoughts and encourage our minds to give more weight to positive feedback, positive information, good news, messages of love and kindness and peace. Because those messages are out there still, even now, those messages are out there. We might have to look a little harder to find them, but I've found when you find a pocket of people who have this same sort of worldview of seeking out the positive in life, that you can surround yourself with more positive people than you've been accustomed to surrounding yourself with in the past. And over the course of just a couple of weeks or months, you can really see a major change in your own outlook on the world, because the people around you affect your mind so much. So, as you evaluate who you're spending time with, try and pay attention to their negativity bias and notice how that negativity has been affecting you, because I'm certain that it has. And if you are able to surround yourself with more positive people, then you will be able to enjoy a more positive life. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you have a great day. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I will look forward to talking to you soon.